What is your fasting protocol, if any, for yourself who do eat a whole food, plant-based, salt, no oil, no sugar diet? I listen to Chef AJ, who we've had on this show, and she talks always how you're very, very strict.
Well, it's easy for me. I work at the True North Health Center where we have an exclusively whole plant food SOS free diet available. So I don't have to do a lot of work because it's sitting right there. I've done this since I was 16 years old. I've never smoked a cigarette, had a cup of coffee, taken a drink, done because I got started really young. It's a lot easier to if you never knew it, you don't get addicted to things. You don't have to break the habits because I never had it to begin with. And so I've eaten a whole plant food SOS free diet. I do that, and it works great. I'm 65 now. It gets a lot easier. I've been doing it for since I was 16. So you figure that's a lot of years of practice. The truth is, for most people, once they make this transition, it's not a lot of discipline to maintain it because you really lose your desire for the greasy, fatty, slimy, processed, dead, decaying flesh, and how it makes you feel. You feel better not eating that. So you get reinforced every day. And, I see it. I play basketball. I play with, 20, 30, 40-year-olds, right? And they're already aging out. And so, I can see the difference functionally really apparent. And these are, comparatively healthy, fit people. But you can see especially as they get old, like in their 40s, they start having trouble and slowing down. And then when you get to people, like I'm seeing some patients now 30, 40-year follow-up. So people that were in their 40s and 50s, now they're in their 80s or 90s. And what's interesting is their stories are almost always the same. They say, well, everybody they know is dead. And even sometimes their kids have died from heart attacks and cancer and whatnot. And so like my mom, when she was 92, she had outlived all of her friends, all 52 of her lifelong friends. She said, Alan, you have to warn your patients if they're going to do this kind of diet, make younger friends. Because it gets harder to make friends when you're 90, because she said even friends 10 years younger people 10 years younger were too old because they were sick and spent all their time with the pills and potions. And so I think you either make younger friends or find a few friends that are on a whole plant food diet. So there'll be people left in your later years when you want to still have fun.
Oh, phew, Dotsie, I have you. But Dr. Goldhamer, do you fast yourself
I
every
do.
day?
I hate fasting. I find it awful because you have to rest. You can't play basketball. You can't go to work.
Right.
And so I don't like it, but I do fast every year, like I suggest all my patients do, for a week. If everything is fine, you're done. I fast every day for between 12 and 16 hours, usually 16 hours. So that's my routine is every day fasting, 12 to 16 hours, once a week. 1 week fasting once a year, or however long it takes to resolve any issues. As I said, I got started so young, I really don't have any issues. Fasting is very easy for me because I don't get any symptoms, except that you have to slow down. And I don't like that.
It sounds like they should introduce water fasting into alcohol treatment centers.
Well, we treat a lot of patients successfully with addictions to the pleasure trap, including drugs and alcohol. And it is amazing. Like cigarette smokers, for example, by the second day of fasting, report no cravings.
Wow.
But now some people say, yeah, they're so miserable fasting, they don't think about the cigarettes. And there's probably some truth to that. But, the fact is it does help the processing more rapidly of these problems. I have to say, though, I think addiction to salt, oil, and sugar is a more prominent, more dominant problem right now, and it's not recognized. In fact, I probably get the most criticism recommending not just sugar restriction, which is starting to become accepted. And some people even will acknowledge the benefit of getting oil out of the diet, oil in the terms of processed oils, but they don't like the idea of reducing salt intake. And so, whether it's sugar or salt or cocaine, any of these white powders, I think you got to be careful about.